Hola clase y bienvenidos a la lección de ser y estar. Welcome class to today's lesson on ser versus estar. Why do we even need a lesson like this? Well, let me show you. In Spanish, the verb ser means to be, and the Spanish verb estar means to be. When then would you use ser and when would you use estar? Look at these two columns. Under the ser column, I have several different categories of times when you would use ser. First of all, a description. Soy aburrido. I am boring. An occupation. ¿Eres médico? Are you a doctor? Characteristics. Ella es perezosa. She is lazy. Time. Son las 8. It's 8 o'clock. Origin. Somos de México. We are from Mexico. And relationship. Este es mi bolígrafo. This is my pen. It belongs to me. In all these cases, you would use the verb ser. And what do we have here? If you take the first letter of each of those categories and spell downward, you have a cutesy acronym of doctor or doctor, which as it just so happens you would use ser to describe in Spanish. Look at the second column, estar. This acronym is place because, you guessed it, you use estar when talking about places. Look at the first two, position and location. Position. El gato está encima de la mesa. The cat is on top of the table. Location. Estoy en Mexico. You want estar with those. This action refers to estar used in the progressive tenses with the present participle, the ando, yendo word. So estamos corriendo, we are running, refers to the action of being in progress of running. Condition, la puerta está cerrada. The door is closed. And then emotions, estoy triste, I'm sad. Now, you can use ser or estar depending on the normal condition or state of a thing versus a changed situation. Let me just give you an example. El agua en los lagos de Patagonia es fría. The water in Patagonian lakes is cold. That is the norm. When you talk about the water in those lakes, it's cold because there are glaciers around there. They have penguins and stuff. So it's naturally going to be cold. Cold is the norm. However, if you talk about a change from the norm, oye, el agua en este lago en Patagonia está caliente. Today the water in this Patagonian lake is hot. Note the key word here, hoy, or today. And you need estar because it is not the norm in those lakes. You can use ser when talking about objective reality, and estar when talking about someone's subjective judgment. The same idea as the last slide. Look at this. El helado es delicioso. Ice cream is delicious. Este helado está asqueroso. This ice cream is disgusting. What's the difference here? With el helado es delicioso, you're talking about ice cream in general. You're going to use ser. That is what we could more or less consider an objective reality. People in general, humans, think ice cream is delicious. However, este helado está asqueroso is now referring to a particular plate of ice cream. And it's sort of like the last example with the norm and the change from the norm. This ice cream that I'm eating right now is disgusting. Its condition of disgust is going to be described with estar. Use ser when describing characteristics and estar with conditions. That was in the chart before, but let me give you a better example. Juan es alegre. Characteristic. Juan is a happy person. Juan está alegre. Juan is happy. That is the temporary condition happening now. Happening now. Might have been sad this morning. Might be sad later. Might be sad real soon. Bien? Ser to describe a passive voice action, and estar to describe a resultant condition. Does that make any sense? You use ser to say to be when you're using the passive voice. Remember, English teachers don't like this. Use estar when you're describing something's condition. Let me just give you an example. La puerta fue cerrada por Juan. That's called the passive voice. The door was closed by Juan. Some people hate it because why not just say Juan closed the door? Juan cerró la puerta. Well, maybe you don't want to say that. This exists. Bien. Use estar, though. In this case, la puerta estaba cerrada. Now, how do we say that in English? The door was closed. Wait a second. In both of these English sentences, we're saying the door was closed. What's the difference? In the sentence, the door was closed by Juan. He did it. It was his action. That's called the passive voice. In the second one, it was just in the state of closedness. The door was closed, not in the state of openness. You use estar. Bien? More. La ventana es rota cada día por Juan. It's a roundabout way of saying Juan rompe la ventana cada día. The window is broken every day by Juan, instead of saying Juan breaks the window every day. La ventana está rota. The state or condition of brokenness. You use estar, the window is broken. Some adjectives change their meaning depending on whether or not they're paired with ser or with estar. Ser aburrido, to be boring. Estar aburrido, to be bored. Ser listo, to be smart. Está listo, to be ready. Ser rico, to be rich with money. Está rico, to be tasty or delicious. Ser seguro, to be safe, a safe thing. Estar seguro, to be sure. Ser verde, to be green, the color of green. Estar verde, to be the condition of ripe or ripedness. Ser bueno, to be good, characteristic-wise, a good person. Estar bueno with food can refer to tastiness, and with people to sexy. There are some exceptions now. The verb to be is used in several expressions in English that don't correlate well to the usage of ser and estar in Spanish. Let me give you a few. It is hot out. The temperature is hot outside. Hace calor. You're using hacer. You're not even using ser and estar. I'm hot in the sense of I am presently at a high temperature and feeling heat. Tengo calor. You're using tener. Isn't that crazy? There is a clown. This is I un payaso. Totally different verb. I. There is and there are. Bien. Where an event takes place. This one gets me every time. Use ser. You're thinking location, but you're thinking wrong. La boda es en el patio trasero de la casa de la amiga de Jorge. The wedding is in Jorge's friend's house's backyard. La boda es, not está. Why? I don't know. Time to practice. Write the following sentences in Spanish, por favor. Number 1, fish is gross, and this plate of fish that I'm currently eating is indeed also gross. Número 2, I'm tall and I'm in a chair. Number 3, it's 8 and there are 8 cats around. Number 4, Juan is boring and Maria is bored. Number 5, Juan's in France and he is a doctor. Number 6, Maria is a bad person and she's tired. Number 7, the wedding's at the mall. Number 8, they're tired and from Mexico. And number 9, this is my pen, and it's hot. And number 10, when I arrived this morning, the door was closed. And number 11, when I arrived this morning, the door was closed by a goat. Respuestas. The answer to number 1 should be something along these lines. El pescado es asqueroso. Este pescado que ahorita estoy comiendo, por cierto, está asqueroso también. El pescado es asqueroso. You're describing fish in general, what you consider an objective judgment by most people. Whereas the second one is a specific plate. That's going to be estar. Soy alto y estoy en una silla. Descriptions and locations. Number 3, son las 8 y hay 8 gatos por aquí. Time, and then I, trick question there is. Number 4, Juan es aburrido y María está aburrida. Description, condition. Number 5, Juan está en Francia y es doctor. Location and occupation. Número 6, María es mala, está enojada. Here we have a description / characteristic and an emotion. Número 7, la boda es en el centro comercial. Qué elegante. The wedding is located. It's an event, where the event takes place. You want to use ser. Gets me every time. Número 8. Ellos están cansados y son de México. Condition and origin. Number 9. Este es mi bolígrafo. Está caliente. Relationship. My pen. Condition. Está caliente. And then cuando llegué esta mañana, la puerta estaba cerrada. We're talking about the condition of the door, the condition of closedness. But lastly, cuando llegué esta mañana, la puerta fue cerrada por un fantasma. The door was closed by a ghost. That's going to use ser. Bien.